Hello again. It's quarter-finals time at the Masters. And what about an elite field? Wow, let me chuck some numbers at you. Of the 8 men through, 6 are already winners of the Crystal Trophy, and the other 2, well, they're world champions. And between all 8 of them, they've garnered 31 Triple Crown titles and counting. Tot that number up with the fact that this is the 50th anniversary Masters, and it all adds up to 4 half-decent quarter-finals.
My default is faulty, trying to change in full flight. I can't see no future, can't see no end in sight. Turn bad into good, burn oak for firewood, get chopped down. Climb through rock and stone, and drowning all alone, get chopped down, get chopped down.
So it's a smorgasbord of big-name major winners. There's how they line up. Neil Robertson, who's on a free ride after standing in for last year's champion Ronnie O'Sullivan, takes on Shaun Murphy. They've played 2 finals here. This is the first ever meeting at the quarters. Another proper heavyweight contest, brilliantly bruising contest in store when big hitters Mark Allen takes on Mark Selby once again. World #1 Judd Trump and Ding Junhui have plenty of history, most of it at the Crucible actually, but tomorrow afternoon, first time they'll ever square up at the Masters. And tomorrow evening, 2 world champions, the present incumbent Kyren Wilson plays the man he followed to Crucible success, Luca Brissell. Well, that's your next 2 days TV viewing sorted out for you, unless, of course, you've got a ticket, like 2,200 people in here. Good afternoon, Ali Pally. And good afternoon to our 2 world champions, John Parrott and Kyren Wilson. You know, we're absolutely delighted because, Kyren, this is your day off, and instead of resting up, you've chosen to spend it in a studio with us. You're a glutton for punishment, aren't you?
Absolutely. No rest for the wicked, and John's promised me lunch, so happy days.
OK. John, what a lineup. I alluded to it earlier on. It's been 13 years since all 8 quarter-finalists had won at least 1 Triple Crown title. And it's even more significant because there's a few guys that we might have expected to be here who are not.
Yeah, I mean, since, is it 2011,
2011,
I think? The first
yeah.
time we haven't had a Ronnie O'Sullivan, John Higgins or Mark Williams in the event at this stage. So, you know, those numbers you mentioned at the start are incredible when you consider they're not actually in this year's event.
Now, I wonder, Kyren, we're impressed with everyone who's getting through to the quarter-finals here, but can you step back and actually appreciate the quality of this lineup as a player? Does it even take you aback this time?
To be honest, no. I keep myself to myself. I don't really watch when I'm not playing, so obviously I thought I'd sit and suffer and watch it all from the studio today. But yeah, fascinating lineup. It's great for the fans, and it's going to be great for the people watching back home.
Of the 8 involved, who's impressed you most and why, John?
You'd have to say, sorry, Kyren, you'd have to say that Neil Robertson from 5-1 behind played no-miss snooker. He was absolutely brilliant. Mark Selby in a spell in his match was nearly unplayable, but you've got great match players. Mark Allen come through well as well. And also, Judd walked into the arena, I don't want to say it really, but he walked in the arena looking like the world #1 and looking like he was going to take a bit of beat. He's got a great demeanour about him at the moment, Trump. OK,
well, the quarterfinals almost upon us, and we're starting with 4 men who have lifted the crystal before. Australia's Neil Robertson strides into a 12th Masters quarter. A dramatic turnaround triumph against John Higgins put him there, and he's reunited with his old foe, Shaun Murphy. The magician beat back a charging Gary Wilson in round 1 to earn the meeting with the Thunder. Then tonight, the 2 toughest match players in the game right now. Mark Allen, a breakthrough winner here 7 years ago, meets Mark Selby, the only man in the field to have won the Masters 3 times. Not an inch will be gifted to the other. So first up, it's England against Australia. Murphy taking on Robertson. These two tore lumps out of each other in both the 2012 and 2015 finals here at the Masters. And this today is the 28th time that they are squaring up on one of the sport's biggest stages. As for prior matches and the record between them, it's Robertson who's had the better time of it overall, with 16 wins to Shaun's 11. But when it comes to these Triple Crown events, there is absolutely nothing between them. 10 contests across the World, UK and Masters series, and it's 5 wins apiece. Something's got to give today.
Neil and I have had some amazing matches over the years. We've played, you know, all over the world. And of course, we played in 2 finals in this very arena.
Australia lifts the 2012 Masters title. Well done to both players.
Shaun Murphy, he's been superb all week.
And it's 1 each in those finals.
Shaun the Magician Murphy!
I admire Shaun tremendously as a player and as a person as well. He's always pushing for better things for the players and works really hard, and you know, he's become just an amazing pundit.
Neil Robertson's capable of blowing anyone on the table away, as we've seen for 20 years. But my game's in good shape, and I'm going to give as good as I get.
Shaun Murphy, wonderful century break.
He's still an incredible player. He's one of the most important people we have in the game, and he's also one of the best players to watch in the world as well.
When you're looking at strengths and weaknesses of a player like Neil Robertson, the weaknesses column is almost empty.
An absolute exhibition of potting.
He's just so strong in every area. I think it is a real clash of the titans, and it's up to me to try and stop him this week.
Neil Robertson, one of the best comebacks you will ever see.
Now it's time to really push on and be more aggressive when the moment is right, and to find my flowing state much quicker in matches than probably what I have been doing. If I find that, then I can win any tournament that I play in.
The Magician was just too strong.
Got to the semis here last year playing nicely. It'd be great to get to the semis again and give myself a chance of winning my 2nd Masters title.
OK, guys, let's have it. What are we in for today, John? What do you think?
Well, it's the most attractive match you could look at, really. It's 2 players who just love to get on with it. You've got Murphy with the $1 million cue action. You've got nobody flushes the ball better than he hits it. And you've got Robertson, who's a savage scorer. And I think we'll play a little quicker as well, because it paid dividends the other day.
You've seen them both very much close up on tour, Kyron. From what we've seen of Neil, he's not been at his brilliant best for a couple of seasons. How close is he to regaining that now, though?
Yeah, I think he's not too far away. Obviously, won the recent English Open.
Yep.
You know, Neil obviously craves winning tournaments, and I think you mentioned just there, if he gets into that flowing state, plays a little bit quicker, he's a danger for anyone. And obviously, he's on a free roll for this Masters.
Of course, Shaun is working with Peter Ebdon to try and give himself a kind of harder edge to his game, mentally speaking. Do you think that's working?
Yeah, I think he said the other day there was green shoots himself when he came in the studio talking about it. I do think it's the important factor in this match, actually. I think if you can just cut out the unforced errors, he's got a massive chance in the game.
OK, well, we see Neil and Shaun backstage. Kyron, you've been there. You were there yesterday with Zhang Anda in the afternoon. What's it like, these moments backstage? What do you do? What are your last moment preparations, if any?
Yeah, you're just trying to sort of mentally prepare yourself. The butterflies will be going. You know, in particular for myself, I felt like I'm going to throw up just before I go out. It's that nerve-wracking. So, yeah, a great privilege for both players.
And for you, John, your memories of the Masters are strong as well.
Yeah.
How did you cope with these moments?
The 15 to 20 minutes before you actually get the knock is the worst time you are as a professional. We've all been there. It's absolutely horrible. You can't wait for the knock on the door or a tap on your shoulder, let's get out to play. But you need that. You need that adrenaline pumping through you. It goes into concentration, and then you're into the match.
And very briefly, Kyron, when you have been in a final as you have at the Masters, how much does that steer you? How much does that advantage you coming in for a match like this?
Yeah, it's humongous. It's obviously experience that you can't buy, and both players have been here and won this tournament, so they both know what it takes, and I'm expecting a close match.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Enjoy it. You're buying lunch. Meanwhile, it's quarterfinals time again, and our MC, Rob Walker, is ready.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This, without question, is the highest quality quarterfinal lineup we've ever had here in North London. All 8 players still in contention have won Triple Crown events, And between them, they've amassed an incredible 127 ranking titles. And this match is a rerun of not one, but two Ali Pali finals. The crowd are ready for a fabulous day 5 at the Johnson's Paint Masters. Please welcome a player who a week ago today still didn't know he was going to be in the tournament. After that epic comeback against John Higgins on Sunday, here he is, bidding for a 6th Masters semi-final 13 years after he stormed to the first of his 2 titles, the Thunder from Down Under, Neil Robertson. You can sense the anticipation as we turn our attention to his opponent, a player who completed snooker's Triple Crown here a decade ago, emerging for his 14th Masters quarter-final after an excellent victory over Gary Wilson. Watch out for the trademark 360 salute to the crowd. He's a class act on and off the bays, Shaun the Magician Murphy.
Quite the contrast, isn't it? Neil Robertson coming into AC/DC, that's new, and Shaun Murphy to the old Tramps classic Disco Inferno. Well, it's got us all going here. These two men have lifted the trophy 3 times between them so far in their careers, and they're being watched from the commentary box by a duo who bagged Masters titles, 9 in total. We're in very good hands as ever. Good afternoon to Stephen Hendry and Steve Davis.
Thank you, Hazel, and good afternoon, everyone, for what promises to be a wonderful afternoon of snooker. Impossible to pick a winner. I'm sitting on the fence. Stephen, any clues?
One thing I would expect from these two is an absolute masterclass in long potting over the last 10, 15 years. These two have been the benchmark in that department. So it could play a big part in who wins today. Who's on it with the long potting? Because These two players are incredible long potters. That's going to put more importance on the safety side of it. You're going to have to try and find that bolt cushion, because if you let them get their hand on the table, you know what's going to happen. And it just creates scoring opportunities, the long game.
Looks like there's a 4-ball plant on, but I'm not too sure he can get to that red. A mistake from Shaun Murphy, albeit couldn't really have foreseen that gap. But it's always worth coming down the table to check. Nasty blue, no guarantee on the position here. Brave, wasn't it, playing at that speed?
6.
Yeah, that kind of shot. Players don't like being in control or not being in control of where the cue ball's going to end up. And he basically just had to make sure potting the blue, potting it at dead weight to land in an area. But when you don't know exactly where you're going to put the cue ball, you're not in control of where it ends up. Top players don't enjoy that. Did well, actually.
7.
This is a good chance.
It was interesting listening to Neil's interview. He's fully aware of the fact that he'd prefer to play with more rhythm. It's on his mind. And the way he finished off against John Higgins, if he can continue in that vein,
14.
He's not just a danger to Shaun Murphy, he's a danger to the rest of the field. Working now with one of the great pros of the game.
90.
Joe Perry will be watching. Maybe they've chatted about pace around the table.
27. 28.
It was an error by Shaun Murphy, not spotting that red into the middle pocket. It'll be interesting to see what the lads think in the studio about it.
No, that's not worked out well. It was an aggressive shot choice. Didn't need to go into them.
can't really be forgiven for that, I suppose. Big red down the right-hand cushion to take.
Yeah, playing the top players, they don't even look at those anymore. But he's not playing a very good safety shot. Okay, he's tied the black up. Well, that red certainly goes, but where's the colour coming from? Shaun's looking at this red down the right side. Can easily screw the cue ball back up for blue. Now, there's the first example of both these players being excellent cueists. Absolutely dead straight. Couldn't have hit that any better.
Ramble. Five. Six.
You always want to get right side of the blue, but there's a little no man's land area. If you don't get the correct side of one of the ball colours, yellow or green, that then can be a problem. And because that blue doesn't pot into the left corner, he's now in that area.
Nine.
Made that look easy.
Ten.
Well, left himself this pink. You'd expect him to get it, but it is missable. Yeah, it's well played.
Yeah, a lot of players would have gone down for the blue there.
60.
Maybe he's in very confident potting mode.
Thank you. 17.
Well, if he's straight in the green, it's perfect. Just a direct screw back. Bring the cue ball back in the line that it's gone on to pot the green. Choice of reds to left, to right middle, right corner. The three reds that are in a line together, I think the left one will possibly pot to left corner once he pots this red.
$21.
Coming around to see if he leaves the cue ball virtually where the pink is. Has he got a red to left middle? He struck the ball beautifully in this visit to the table.
27. $28. $34.
Still not straightforward to win the frame at this visit. He's had a look at the two reds beside the one he's just about to pot. See whether it's
35.
available to right corner. Looks to be absolutely perfectly on the pink to play for that or one in the left middle.
$41. $42.
He's going to need the red that's next to the black, so it's probably always been at the back of his mind, niggling away at how he's going to cope with that red.
$48.
It'd be lovely to break it out now if he could guarantee being on a colour. And there's your answer.
49.
So, has he come far enough that he can pot the pink, nudge the black off the back cushion? Great shot. What a shot. Loaded up with loads of right-hand side.
55.
Well, this has been one of the breaks of the tournament for me. From the opening red. Reds weren't in the best positions
56.
for a frame-winning clearance, but it's been absolutely flawless in terms of ball striking.
$63.
Neil Robertson's weak safety shot has been roundly punished.
65. Thank you. $68. $72. $77. $83. $90 on the first frame.
What a way to
Shaun
start
Murphy.
a match. Shaun Murphy, congratulations on a wonderful opening frame. 1-0.
Well, he made a fast start in the first round, and that really is lightning quick in terms of getting into his stride there. Impressions from Kieran and John of that opening one from Shaun Murphy. Brilliant start.
Yeah, obviously both players had chances in that opening frame, and that's all you want to get your arm going. But the red that Shaun played to get in, you know, was just pure ball striking. He'd be so confident off the back of hitting this one, and obviously did the rest.
Yeah, I mean, you try that one in your club and see where you get the cue ball trying to screw back to there. I mean, as I say, I mentioned before, like $1 million cue action. That was an example, but this is a beautiful shot. To play this with a little bit of run inside, come off the cushion, and just get half ball on the black and left the red. Beautiful shot. So they were two crackers in that break.
When we were watching this, you guys were chatting about Murphy's cue action out there. And Karen, you particularly noticed the fact that he is staying down on the shot a lot longer than perhaps he was just a few months ago. Is that very much to his advantage in your mind?
Yeah, and obviously it's been well documented that he's working with Peter, and I know it's something Peter spoke to me about, because I know it was something Peter worked on with his game, trying to keep his head still and down longer on the shot. And yeah, it's obviously similar to golf. If you stay with it, you know, you've got more chance of, you know, hitting the ball as you intend to. So, yeah, a big change for him, but it just shows he's still hungry to improve.
Yeah, and indeed taking on board the lessons that Peter is obviously telling him in terms of discipline out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main thing, as I say, my one query today is the concentration levels are going to be bang on all through the match. And in that break, absolutely. I mean, if he concentrates properly, plays like that, you can't hit it any better, can you?
Absolutely. So Shaun Murphy, an excellent start with that opening break of 90. He's off and running.
Thank you. Thank you. Settle down, please. The second frame. Shaun Murphy to break. One.
What a sound. Red smacking the leather in the middle of the pocket.
Three. Four. Just a moment, please, Neil.
He was probably looking for an angle in this red to left corner to be able to play topspin and just flick the red away from the black. Leave the black to the right corner pocket. I don't think he's got that angle. So it's be back up for blue or bot colour. We'll see when he plays it, if he's able to maybe bring a couple of reds into play. No, it's dead straight, so. Deep screw.
$11.
And unless he plays topspin of two cushions, he's not got the angle on the blue to go into the bunch, so may play for the open red here. But after that one, he is going to need a good angle on the colour. I actually favour playing for the green here, because it's a huge target, and possibly, you can play for the blue, obviously.
16.
But green's a good ball. He's
17.
chosen the blue. And he'll be hoping if he gets the right strike on the pack here, can maybe bring the black into play as well. He couldn't hit it much better.
$22.
Is he on that red? Looks like he might just better get past. Initially, it looked like he was unlucky.
23. $28.
He'd like to play this red to clear the pink for the same pocket. But the positional side's not guaranteed. Has he spotted a way to wriggle round the back of the black? Or is he going to keep it down the left-hand side of the table?
Thank you. 29.
Bit of work to do here. He's got enough of an angle he can get the cue ball out into open play.
$36. $37.
Well, he was always aware that he would be tying pink and black up by potting the pink. He's fancying the job on blues to get over the line now.
$43.
It's also a big target if he gets a nice angle in the blue to play a gentle little cannon in between the black and red, the red that's beside the pink and black. Sort of get in between both of them. At least favour the left side of the black as we look.
$44.
He may not play that shot now, only because the cue ball's a little bit close to the cushion. Still worth it, I think.
Yeah, he's going to jack up in the air a bit. It's going to be not as easy from there. Sort of arguably a bit of an error, tying pink and black up. I feel probably had no choice from the position he was in with the cue ball. But this could go wrong now.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking maybe worth the risk. I know it was a more difficult shot, but playing the cannon, you think he'd be very unlucky not to be on one of the three reds. Now he's given himself a little bit of a problem getting back up the table. You have to say both players have started this match in absolutely red-hot form in terms of the way they're striking the cue ball. It's only just after halfway the second frame, but pot success 100%, long pot success 100%, rest pot success 100%. If it carries on like that, we're in for a decent match.
It was a fantastic result for Neil Robertson in his first round match against John Higgins. The type of match that can kickstart your confidence. Something that Neil's been looking for, searching for a while.
$56.
Yeah, there's no doubt he belongs in this company. He's one of the best players in the world. It won't be long before he's ranked in that way. It's too good not to be.
$61.
Well, that helps, doesn't it? One more red after this blue to absolutely guarantee the frame.
$67. $68.
Here's this little gentle cannon. Just favour slightly left side of the black. No.
$73.
Not playing the cannon. Does red go in the middle? It does.
74. $79. Robertson, 79.
Well, no century break. Shaun Murphy made one mistake, he broke off. Neil Robertson did the rest. It's one each.
Well, it would appear that both of these great champions are completely dialed in already, and that bodes for a very good afternoon. What's the difference in terms of attitude and what we're seeing in terms of quality between round one and quarterfinals here, Karen, would you say?
Yeah, we're obviously chatting off air there. I feel like round one is such a banana skin. Obviously, you want to sort of, you're just desperate to get past that round one match. You do not want to go out of this tournament early. There's lots of pressure on the players to get past that. And I feel like maybe now you're seeing both players here, they're just relaxing. You know, that burden of being knocked out in the first round is gone. And they're both kicking on and they both look really, really sharp.
It's a good point, because when Shaun Murphy came in here after winning his first round match against Gary Wilson, he said he was just absolutely desperate to get over that. Didn't care how he did it. Yep. It really didn't matter. But it was getting to this point.
Absolutely, it is. And you can see already, you can sense it. There's almost a sense, just sitting here watching it, that they're right on it from ball one. And they've been two of the highest quality snooker frames you're ever going to see. Both players look really, really sharp.
Yeah. What did you enjoy about Neil Robertson's contribution there, Karen?
I loved the way he played the first red, actually. He actually played it with so much pace that it came in and out of bulk. You know, you wouldn't have forgiven him being 1-0 down the way Shaun Murphy took that first frame if he'd have played it as a bit of a shot to nothing. But, you know, he mentioned it in his pre-match interview that he wanted to play with a bit more rhythm, be a bit more attacking, and, you know, that's certainly a sign of that.
He talked actually about getting into his, what he called his flowing state, his flow state, much faster in the match. Do you identify with what he's talking about there?
Yeah, 100%. You know, if you overthink this game, if you play too slowly, you know, your natural rhythm is not going to come out. And Neil is so much better. He strides into the shot, sort of looks very dominant out there, and you know, he's one of the best scorers in the game when he gets into that flow.
Yeah, you can also, you know, upset yourself because you start seeing problems when there aren't any. You know, if you know what the shot is and you've played it all the time, just go up and play.
You're certainly doing that. Back we go. This is frame 3.
There's another loose break-off. Another long red available. I think there is an angle to get behind that red, that's underneath the black, and get the cue ball back up the table. Did not expect him to miss that.
One.
Took the chance. No real idea of how that was all going to resolve itself.
Here, Robertson, 1.
Yeah, I like the shot choice. Very aggressive, but obviously relying on some sort of run of the ball to finish nicely on the colour.
He's going to hit this pretty thick. There's going to be reds flying around a bit. I was able to catch it a little thinner than I thought, so no danger of another red going to a corner pocket. It's a bit crowded up there. Ideally wanted that cue ball tight on the black cushion. There is a tempter into this right corner pocket. And if Shaun does take it on, he's got to work out a way to stop that red into the centre being potted should he miss. It is a thin snick though. Probably thinner than it looks on the TV. Surely he's going to play this. Maybe not.
Yeah, it feels like it's going into one of those matches where you don't want to be seen by your opponent to be refusing anything, because it will show weakness. I think was maybe expecting the cannon on the yellow. Maybe he didn't put the blue in the middle of the pocket, and that's why he missed the cannon on the yellow.
6.
He was hoping for a nudge on that yellow at the very least. And now in a bit of trouble. Peter Ebdon. Let's get stuck in, sit in the crowd rather than backstage watching on a TV. What a shot.
7.
What a shot that was. Shaun Murphy's not going to be the first one to blink.
Yeah, that was the ultimate pot yourself out of trouble shot.
Green ball. Ten. $11.
Just let that cue ball slip. Maybe didn't pop the red into the correct part of the pocket. Once again, that can change the path of the cue ball.
Yeah, I don't know. The black possibly doesn't go to left corner, but I thought if it did go, maybe worth off that red playing for the black, because it was an easy red after it.
I don't think he can get through to see the pink. It's a big blue to take on. No, that's tight on the pink. Maybe could turn it over with a bit of left-hand side, but and the reason why he didn't risk the blue there wasn't easy to get on another red. Disappointing from Shaun Murphy. He'd done the hard work there. Just when it looked like he was going to get back in the saddle for another big break, he's back in his chair. Monstrous pot. What a match so far this has been. Hopefully more to come. Both players slugging it out at the moment. Safety at this level has got to be so good.
Six. 7. Neil Robertson, 7.
He'd have liked that red again and hit it harder. Can Shaun Murphy get to this top cushion, the red near the black somehow?
Foul and a miss. Neil Robertson, 4.
Not absolutely sure the angle's there for that. Obviously he's got to get closer to the blue on the far side.
Foul and a miss. Neil Robertson, 4.
So he's proven to himself that the line is correct. Looks to have a chance at a red into the right corner here. looks to be in more trouble than his last safety shot. This is tough to pot your way out of trouble. And doesn't want a double kiss. Which he got, but just got away with it. He'd be delighted with the outcome of that. It was a poor safety from Neil. So can Shaun capitalise?
Seven. Eight. $14. Thank you. 15.
Pink goes back in its own spot after it's potted here, so no problem. Getting on a red.
$21. $22.
Straight in the pink. It's not ideal. If he's dead straight to the right middle, because he wanted to stun across for the top red of the two to left corner.
$28. $29. $35. $36. $42. $43. 49. Shaun Murphy, 49.
Orange snookers, that's the third frame on the Shaun's belt. Strong favourite.
One. Eight. Hey, Robertson, 8.
Not a great effort there. Ideally, you try and leave one ball one side of the line of the 3 balls and the other ball the other side to guarantee some type of snooker.
What was your cut-off when you're going for snookers? 3 snookers? 4 snookers? When would you give up the frame?
3, I think.
3.
3, with 3 balls. I mean, it's achievable, isn't it? Like 49 points with 1.
Mine was 1.
Well, I don't disagree for the rhythm that it destroys. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, because it can be 15, 20 minutes sometimes, can't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't really want to send the red onto the black here. The black's in a decent position for laying a snooker. And if you can get full ball in the red, I don't know, it's a good idea maybe to try and lift the yellow with the red. Yeah, that's what he's tried. It's all gone wrong, and that could be the end of the frame now. Oh, may not be potable, is it? thin.
It's not easy to get a great snooker here. That brown's a bit too close to the cushion to guarantee getting behind it, and the black's off its spot. A bit harder to get behind that as well. Well, that will do. Two amazing shots into the yellow pocket. This will be another one if he rolls it down the cushion. Not to be, but he's won the frame. Shaun Murphy's looking in good shape, isn't he? What a great start to the match for him. He's now 2-1 up.
Well, there's been moments of brilliance in truth from both of them, but we definitely take Steve's point. This man is on fire this afternoon, Shaun Murphy, and there were a couple of shots there once again that had us purring. That long red early on from Murphy when he was in a bit of bother, actually, John.
I mean, he actually missed the cannon, played the best safety shot of the match. He was in so much trouble. But that is just an incredible pot. To play at the pace he did as well, to get it in and out of baulk again and back on the green was just one heck of a pot.
Yeah, and of course we saw Neil Robertson respond with a long pot of his own here.
Yeah, it's almost like they're having a pot off, isn't it? You know, it's just like, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to do the same thing. But and unbelievably from there, Karen, I mean, perfect on the blue. He lost position straight away.
Yeah, you know, Neil's obviously had a slight less element of risk involved. He could play it as almost a shot to nothing, whereas Shaun's was really aggressive, cracked the back of the leather, and you know, if Shaun had missed his shot, he was leaving the world for Neil. So, yeah, obviously neither player is backing down at the moment, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how their rhythm's going to be in the next frame after having a sort of long bout of safety, trying to play for snookers, and yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can pick that rhythm back up now.
But it's really encouraging from both their perspectives to see how much focus there is. I mean, there's absolutely no wavering in the concentration state so far,
No,
John.
absolutely. That's the impressive thing from Shaun Murphy's point of view. It's always been sort of, you know, bone of contention when you watched him. Brimful of talent, brilliant cue action, just sometimes throws the odd lifeline to his opponent with an unexpected miss in amongst the balls. But I definitely think that keeping the head down is definitely part of the new process that's making him concentrate a bit better.
You know, as a fellow pro, how dangerous can this man be when all parts of his game are absolutely in sync, would you say, Kyle?
Yeah, so dangerous. Obviously, you know, one of the best cue actions on tour. You know, for me, I actually feel like you've got the two best cue actions on tour at the moment, playing against each other. But as for Shaun, he's obviously brought Peter into his camp to try and maybe improve certain areas that are not as strong as others. So, yeah, like I said before, he's obviously still keen to improve, and it's very impressive.
Long way to go, but the magician waving that cue like a wand at the moment. 2-1.
Shaun Murphy actually changed sides there to break off from his previous one. He broke off in between green and brown the first time. That was between yellow and brown. Maybe the fact he left Neil a long ball and he potted it and won the frame from it, maybe that influenced his decision.
Foul. Shaun Murphy full.
Sloppy. Didn't need to be anywhere near that corner pocket with that safety shot.
Straight away, Shaun is looking at the blue to see where he needs to be on it to be able to play for the red that's to the left of the black.
1.
You have a little bit too much angle. You can just play topspin and drop on it. Looks a bit pacey, but I think he's okay. But yeah, that's a little lesson in break building
6.
there. If you want to try and win a frame of one visit, get the black ball available to both corner pockets. That was his, as soon as he came to the table, that's what
7.
his mind was set on, getting that red away.
Of the two reds that pot, the second red, further up the table, could be used to try and nudge open more reds at the same time. Because after that loose red,
15.
it's looking a bit more tight at the top. Maybe there's another red that goes near the pink. Yeah, that's
22.
helpful.
$23. $30. $31.
Another guide to how well
37.
both players actually, but especially Shaun is striking the cue ball is that stat there, 96% positional success. When you're not hitting the cue ball properly, that's when you're out of position all the time.
38. 45. $46.
Probably screw off the black cushion here. A little touch of left-hand side. Cue ball go in between those two reds at the right side of the table. Just got into the cue ball a little bit too much.
51.
And a bit too much side spin as well, wasn't it? Helped to have laid off the left-hand side of the cue ball a little bit, but it shouldn't be a problem.
Didn't try to do too much with the cue ball.
52.
Made sure the pot wasn't tempted to go into the bunch of 6 reds, well, even though he had the angle there on the black, because
59.
the cue ball was closer to the right cushion. But it may be tempted to screw into the reds here from this shot. No, he's played for the black.
60.
And it's okay. He'd like it to be a little bit less angle, but the 2 reds above the black, if you can just flick the right-hand side one of those. But don't take your eye off the pot. Mm.
$67.
Nice 71-point lead, but it's not enough. 75 on the table.
I mean, if he could play a safety shot and nudge the black to the cushion, he'd be up for that. Okay, nudging that black to the cushion. You probably have to disturb the reds a bit, but I think Neil Robertson is hoping he doesn't try that.
Shaun Murphy, 67.
And he's kept it tight, but he didn't really take too much time in seeing whether he could push the black to the cushion. I'd have been tempted, I think. He's going to have to hit this red very thick to make the plant. And now he's secured the frame. What an excellent opening session for Shaun Murphy this has been. He's really looked assured. As Karen mentioned in the studio, keeping his head down just that extra second after to guarantee no body movement. That's how you play snooker. As solid as possible on the shot. Stay in position just to guarantee after you've hit the ball. It won't matter about that.
Shaun Murphy, 5.
You're just checking the scores.
Yep. And the frame.
Doesn't want any more of that. So Shaun Murphy goes to the interval 3-1 in front, and very good for it as well.
Okay, we have Kyron, we have John here watching this man stride out of the arena. And when was the last time we saw Shaun Murphy playing as emphatically as he is right now, John?
Quite a while ago. That's as impressive as you can be. I thought his match play's been of a superb high quality. He's played good safety when he's had to. He's concentrated right the way through. Every time he's got in, he's looked like he was going to score. Top class match play, that was.
Enjoying it so far, Kyron?
Yeah, it's been fascinating to see, and you know, both players when they've got in, they've looked like they're playing with good rhythm, and you know, the ball striking has been amazing. Both players have potted amazing balls, and obviously Shaun will be enjoying his cup of tea that little bit more than Neil will.
Absolutely. And when Neil reflects on the opening 4 frames, for him, what would he like to try and do better?
He's just made 1 or 2 mistakes. It's the safety, isn't it? 1 or 2 of the safety shots have been a little bit loose. He ran in off when he shouldn't have done with the last safety shot he did. He stuck 1 red the frame before over the corner. So generally, you would have thought that had been the other way. Roles reversed. It's been Shaun who's been doing those in the past, but he's been the better of the 2 players in that department as well.
There's absolutely no panic, because we remember John Higgins was 5-1 up, and we remember that incredible comeback. But it's just great to see 2 players like this at the top of their game out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what people pay good money to come and watch. You know, we've got a packed out arena at Alexandra Palace, and you know, these are 2 of the best cueists in our game. So it's great to see them striking the ball with authority, and hopefully there's more of the same after the break.
I've been hugely impressed with the quality. It's absolutely bad. Yeah, I can just, as I say, I could sense it before. I could just feel as if they're both on it right from ball 1, and I think it's been absolutely top class.
Okay, and we've got a lot more to come today as well, guys, because this evening you better strap yourselves in, because it's a very, very big match tonight. Now, Seema and the team are going to be on duty on BBC 2 at 7 o'clock, and then moving over to BBC 4 from 8, because it is another tough battle of the marks that's about to get underway. Messrs Allen against Selby. Now, 3-time champion Selby looked and sounded really, really good after his opening match here, but all of us remember that it's only a few years ago, 3 in fact, that after a defeat here at the Masters, Mark decided to be very open about his mental health struggles. And since then, he's been a very powerful, honest and inspiring voice on this subject for everyone on the tour, and indeed for everyone in sport. He's been talking to Shabnam.
Mark, I think it's great to see you here at the Masters, laughing, smiling, joking around. What does that tell us about the kind of mood that you're in?
Yeah, I feel like I'm in an okay place, the best place I've been for a little while, you know, but I'm not taking anything for granted, because I know it can easily just turn like the same as the game, really. You can go playing really well, and then before you know it, next match you don't play as good. So that's the way I'm taking it with my health at the moment, but while I'm in a good place, I'm trying to make the most of it.
It was actually here at the Masters in 2022 that you first opened up about how you were feeling.
Yeah.
And, you know, over the years, how have you learned to sort of manage it? Do you recognise the triggers and can do something more about it now?
Yeah, well, before I was sort of alien to it all, really. I didn't really know what was going on. Obviously, I was having a lot of like low days, but I just thought, you know, it's just everybody has them, you know. Not everyone wakes up like Rob Walker, you know, obviously bouncing around here, there and everywhere. But, you know, and then it sort of all come on top of me, like you say, at the Masters. I think I was playing Hawkins and lost the game. And after that, I felt like, look, there was something definitely wrong. And I knew I needed to speak to somebody. You know, I thought for me to carry on, if I was to carry on playing, feeling like I felt out there in that environment obviously was not nice. So obviously I knew I was never going to go on and do anything again unless obviously I got some serious help. So I spoke to a friend of a friend, and he'd been going through the same as me many, many years ago and managed to turn it around and come out the other side. He put me onto a doctor who he was speaking to at the time, which was a guy called Dr. Lanka, who works in London, and I was working with him for about 6 months to a year, and he's been brilliant. When you're in the mindset I was, he said it's easier to just think, well, I need to do that tomorrow, but then you wake up and you don't feel great and you just don't end up doing it. You just lock yourself away in the house. So I write things down and obviously try and complete them every day. And then for me, that's like my goal every day, looking forward. And if I can do that, then obviously I know I'm off to a good start.
There's been times when you've been so low that you've just not wanted to be in tournaments, etc. And it seems so different now seeing you here at the Masters. Are you glad that you've managed to carry on and, you know, basically continue playing.
Yeah, for sure, because I know deep down, obviously, I still love the game, you know. Obviously, when things are good and I'm in a decent place and you're playing some good snooker, it's like the best place to be out there, especially in a venue like here in Alexandra Palace. But, you know, I know that it's going to happen again at some point. As I said before, and I've said it plenty of times, the doctor was saying, look, you're never going to overcome it. You just sort of learn to live with it better. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. But I know at some point, obviously, like, I'll probably fall off the wagon again at some point. But hopefully I'm in a better place mentally to be able to deal with it so I don't go as low as what I did before. I think I just appreciate life a lot more, you know. I mean, before I was playing snooker and it was literally like life or death to me. I mean, I was like living and breathing it. If I was losing in the comp, I was going back home, obviously back on the practice table 24/7 and not really having a life outside of snooker, you know. It was just basically taking over my whole life. And having to go through something like what I went through, it sort of makes me realise, you know what, there's more to life than just a game of snooker, you know. And if you haven't got your health, then you've not got nothing.
Well, some of these megastars are actually now normalising taking a break for your mental health.
Yeah.
The gymnast Simone Biles is one of them, Naomi Osaka, tennis player, and Ronnie O'Sullivan, you know, he hasn't played in this tournament. How much more confident do you feel now that if you needed to step away or not play, that you would do that, make that decision for yourself?
Well, I do now at this particular moment. I mean, even still back in April I didn't, because I wasn't in the best place and I still didn't step away and I still went to Sheffield knowing how I was. And played in the tournament and sort of wasn't really ready, I suppose. So looking back, if I'm in that position again, then yeah, for sure I will step away and put myself first for a change. Individual sports is very, very tough because there's a lot of pressure out there. You know, once you're out there in that arena, whether it's a snooker venue, a gymnastics place like Simone, you know, you're on your own. And you've got nobody else to turn to at that particular moment in that pressure situation until after the match. You've got your friends and family around you then, but while you're out there, you're on your own. So it's a very tough place for sure.
There is some support available at the moment. There is a player support programme, but I mean, do you think that's not accessible enough, or why do you think players need more than that?
I just think sometimes, for me, I think sometimes you need to have someone on site. I mean, obviously it's all right having that accessibility to do that. But I mean, that's always away from tournaments. If you go and speak to them, sometimes, like, if you're going through what I was going through and what Ronnie was going through, you don't know from day to day how you're going to feel, you know what I mean? I could feel okay today, I could wake up tomorrow and feel absolute rubbish, you know, and then obviously not even want to play and feel really low. So when you're in that position, if that's happening at tournaments, obviously you either have to pull out the tournament and not play or go and speak to this guy after the tournament's finished. Well, you know, if he was there on site, then at least, like, you could wake up in the morning and think, look, I don't play till tonight. Has he got any availability? Yeah, I can go and see him, even if it's for only half hour. That half hour might be the difference between you carrying on in the tournament or not. I tried to take my own life a couple of times when I was younger. Having lost my dad so young, I didn't know where to turn. I had no one really in my life, like, really close enough to sort of bring me back up. I felt like, you know, it wasn't worth living anymore because he was my idol and role model. So having been since then, obviously for years I never spoke about it, didn't feel like I could, but having since speaking about it, if anyone asks me questions now, I feel as though it's the easiest thing in the world to speak about it. And, you know, being a guy as well, a lot of us are quite embarrassed and we come across quite macho and strong and feel like you can't talk about something like that and you feel like you're showing a weakness. But you know, if I was to help just one person out there in the world by speaking out, I feel as though I've done my job.
And if you've been affected by any of the issues that Mark raised today, there is a BBC Action Line which is designed to try and help you find some support. But our sincere thanks to Mark and to Shabnam for such an honest conversation. And it makes a great point. You fellas are great, but sometimes you do take it all a little bit internally. And I just wonder how important it is, not just for men, but for women, for all of us to be able to have these honest conversations. And what about Mark's contribution in making this issue heard today, John?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I actually didn't know that last bit that he was talking about, that he made it, you know, a couple of attempts of his own life. I did not know that about him. And if you actually saw him around the venue, you would never know that either, would you? Because, you know, he's obviously in a very good place at the minute and he's always laughing and joking around it, and he's one of the funniest lads you're ever going to meet. you would have no idea that that would ever be the case, but he's bringing it obviously into the light.
He's talked about last year, Karen, when he did go and play at the Crucible and then afterwards told us that this is probably enough and he was actually thinking about walking away. We're very glad that he's obviously still back playing snooker with us here today. But do we have to pay more heed and have a bit more respect for players when they say, you know, I can't do this week, I'm not going to play?
Yeah, it was quite interesting to hear Mark talking quite openly about it there. And as he mentioned, you know, especially sort of as a male professional, sort of at the top of the game, it's almost as if you're looking a little bit ungrateful and woe is me. You know, people make comments of, well, OK, you're earning a lot of money, you're playing the sport you love for your job. You know, sometimes people don't really know what's going on between the ears. And I feel like I remember Tyson Fury coming out, obviously when he was, you know, quite overweight, and he came back, made that big comeback against Deontay Wilder, spoke about mental health, and he almost made it quite a new thing to come out in public, and he almost made it quite accessible for people to relate to. So it's great that more sort of sportsmen and women are coming out and talking about this. And you know, it's difficult, especially someone as good as Mark Selby. You want to go to every tournament because he believes he can win every one. And he mentioned it previously, you know, you can walk out in our Alexandra Palace, it can completely inspire you. So you can go here feeling flat, you can get out there, pot a few good balls, and all of a sudden you feel $1 million. So sometimes you want to chance your arm and carry on playing because it can all turn in a switch.
But it is a very lonely profession. I mean, professional sport is intrinsically lonely, unless, of course, you're part of a team sport. You've got your brother, Taylor, with you. Judd's got his brother, Jack, with him as well. Who was your go-to person when you were at the height of your powers?
Well, obviously, my father was my main influence. He was the one who got me playing, and he was the best psychologist in the world. I could go home and speak to him. You could give him a crossword, he wouldn't be able to finish it, but he had more common sense than anyone I knew. I could always go and speak to him. I had my best pal, Tony Shirley, who was with me for 30 years, my manager, Phil Miller. I had a great thing. And I could separate, I could compartmentalise. When I went to work, I went to work. And when I'd finished, I'd go home and have my family. And I had my 2 children and Karen. And so that was, the 2 things for me were completely separate. Once I'd finished and the queue went in the case, when I went back home, I was back to being a dad and doing those things.
Sorry, I totally relate to what Mark's saying there, and I actually think that's such an asset to have, being able to switch into job mode and right now I'm back to being a family man. For me personally, I've gone through some dark periods where I've wanted to go home and I've wanted to absolutely smash the house up because, you know, my results haven't gone my way. And to switch that on and off is so difficult. So I think Mark mentioned there, having someone live at events could be all the difference.
What was your strategy? Because obviously we're talking about a mental health professional. Clearly, as Shaun was articulating the other day, there is help available to all of the players via the touch of a button counselling service and getting that in place. But what was your strategy, Karen? You were talking about winning the world title last year. What sort of help did you have on the mental side of things?
So, you know, I've made it quite public that I've been working with a solution hypnotherapist in Chris O'Connor at Eccleston Park, and that was a massive part of the reason why I won the World Championships. We call it a stress bucket, and when your stress bucket is full, similar to what Mark said, it's like a bottle of Coke. You know, it's only a matter of time before it completely erupts when the lid comes off. So it's about sort of keeping that stress bucket empty. You know, if you're out there and you're thinking too much, it's the worst place to be. But if you're out there free-flowing, not much is going on in your mind and you're in a happy place, it's great. You know, for me, picking up a phone and having to call someone, when your time schedule is so tight when you're at an event, you don't really want to pick up the phone. You want to have someone there in person that you can just nip into and go, listen, mate, I really need a chat. I need to sort something out. So maybe that's something that we can look into.
Bit of progress perhaps to be made in terms of increasing the services available to the players.
Absolutely.
As for Mark's match tonight against Mark Allen, I guess one of the big questions is who's the toughest match player on the tour at the moment? I mean, it's a real vying for position between these two, isn't it?
That's one immovable force meets a movable object tonight. And honestly, I mean, listen, the 2 of them can play fast-flowing snooker, we know that. But there will be at least a couple of frames in that match that are going to be absolute tooth and nail right down. So, I mean, you can just see it coming. It's an unbelievable matchup. It's very difficult to pick the winner, the way both of them are. And it could at times be one for the purist.
Well, indeed, there's Mark going through his paces at the practice table there. In terms of the hard-nosed quality to these contests, is there any reason to believe it will be markedly different tonight? Because we've seen, as you said, John, just how well this man played in his opening session the other night. I think 94% pot success. And Mark Allen did a really, really professional job on Si Jiawei as well. This could be an excellent game.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a fantastic sort of display of match play. I think the thing that's going to be in Mark Selby's favour is he spent a lot of time at the Championship League just before coming here, so he's come into this event very match sharp. I'm not sure what Mark Allen's preparations were, but you know, you're definitely seeing the fruits of that in Mark Selby's first round match.
Dare I remind us all that it was, what, 2 years ago that these two played out a Crucible semi-final, which finished way, way beyond midnight. And this man, of course, got to the final, found himself 5 frames down against Luca Brazil in that one. Yeah. Clearly a bit of an impact from it. But last year, a very swift affair in which Mark Allen 4-1 down, produced a 1-4-7, and of course came back. So some of these games between them have been really memorable, haven't they?
Well, you'd expect it, you know, and you wouldn't be surprised whatever the result was, because they're two absolute top quality match players, and it's down to the day who gets a little run of the balls here and there, 1 or 2 misses, mistakes. Honestly, it's too tough to pick.
Okay, well, I won't ask you to do so. I will ask you to predict a little bit of what the next few moments will bring for us, because we're heading back into the second part of this wonderful match between Mr. Robertson and Mr. Murphy out there. Now, the pattern of play has been, things have markedly changed after the interval. What do you expect will change today? Yeah,
it's the funny thing, isn't it? It's one of those situations. Sometimes you're out there and you're scrapping for a table time and you can't wait for the interval. But if you're Shaun Murphy there, it was the last thing you needed to happen, because he was really in stroke and playing well. And sometimes, as we know, you can come back out and that 15 minutes makes a lot of difference.
For you, do you consciously try and do anything different when you're at the interval? And what do you go through in your preparations for going back out again, Kyle?
You're just wanting to sort of find the rhythm to your cue action, sort of just spread the balls, get your cue arm going, pot as many balls as possible. What I'm going to find interesting is Neil's going to have 2 options here. Does he try and slow Shaun down, break his momentum, or does he stick with his game plan originally, up the pace and be aggressive?
We shall find out. But right now, it's 3-1 to the Magician. Top break so far in this excellent match has been that 90 in the opening frame from Shaun Murphy. And just a reminder that these two have seen it all and done it all in this tournament. In fact, Shaun Murphy with a 10 frames to 2 win over Neil Robertson the last time they played in a final here. That was in 2015. And it was 3 years before that that Neil Robertson got the better of Shaun 10-6 in the final. They know one another all too well. Back we go to Steve and Stephen.
More of the same would be great in this second half. Another substandard break-off from Neil Robertson. And these are the type of long balls. You just never expect these two players to miss these. Like a golfer with a perfect swing. You never expect them to miss a fairway off the tee. You never expect these two to ever miss a pot like this. Just cue the ball so well.
Yeah, it's nice to knock another one of those in straight off the back of the interval. Important yellow to get in the pocket here. Wasn't a certainty.
From Matthew 1.
Neil Robertson will be delighted to get an opportunity so quickly in this 5th frame.
1.
Yeah, sure.
8. Nine.
Is he tempted to go into the pack, try and free the cue ball into open play? A glance off it may have been okay, but chose a more assured route.
16.
Yeah, the 4 reds that are at the back of the bunch closest to the black, the one on the left of the 4, it's just slightly closer to the black. If you were able to somehow get the cue ball screwing into that little joint, I think that's what he was thinking about, and then just screwing the cue ball through the reds. He turned it down.
17.
Big target off the blue as well, though. There is 2 reds at the left of the bunch pointing slightly towards the left corner pocket, which he may have to have a look at if he's going to go into them from the blue.
$22. $23.
You can't really, it's not as easy to play into that joint from this side of the black.
What a shot that was.
$30.
Didn't hold back, did he?
$31. $38. $39.
Oh, the yellow that Shaun missed. It's looking like being
46.
a very costly one in this frame.
$47.
Unforced errors have been few and far between. When they have been made, they've been punished.
$52. $53.
I assume that those 2 reds in in a line will go into the centre pocket. Or at least one of them will.
58.
Once that red's cleared. Looks a bit tight though. But ideally he wouldn't want to shift red unless he has to.
59.
And that's the reason why you can never guarantee.
66.
You'd expect, wouldn't you, going into them you'd be on a red, but anything can happen.
Yeah, I think he was probably trying to get the right-hand side red there. Just didn't put enough left-hand side on the cue ball. Because hitting the red that he did, you were relying on a little bit more luck. Where you hitting the other red, you were guaranteed being on a red.
He's only one red away from winning the frame, but can't take too much of a liberty. He's gone for it.
Neil Robertson, 66.
With an element of safety. He hasn't got too many points to play with, so maybe Shaun trying to push this red back up the table. Clever shot. Needs to a little bit of luck. So, still some thin ice for Neil Robertson to negotiate. Wow. Don't often see players miss cue over the top of that cue ball when putting topspin on. And what a chance for Shaun Murphy now. We know he's cueing well.
Thank you. 1.
It's not a great deal to do, is there? With the, he can afford 1 pink, I think. Can he? I'm just doing the maths.
Yeah, look at the situation. The ball is it's an easy clearance, even allowing for the fact he has to take blacks. But obviously, there is pressure.
9.
Just have to keep control of that cue ball, which he has done all afternoon. To me, he's favourite to win this frame now, even though he's still 50 odd points
60.
behind.
$17. $24.
Neil Robertson will be fearing the worst here.
$25.
With that pink nicely placed next to the yellow, he doesn't really have to do a hell of a lot with the cue ball.
$32. $33. Ping ball. $39. $41.
Not a foot wrong so far.
$44.
Brown to blue can sometimes go wrong, but not from this position, I don't think.
48.
What a steal this would be.
$53.
Cue ball's been on a string. As I said, you couldn't have had the balls in a better position to make
59.
this clearance, but you still got to do it. You still got to keep control of that cue ball, and it's been absolutely flawless. This has been world class from Shaun Murphy so far this afternoon. He stretches his lead to 4-1.
What a turnaround in that frame. How do you explain it, John?
Yeah, Murphy's match play today has been exceptional. I mean, there's many a time I've sat in here and been pulling my hair out like everybody else, thinking, how can you hit the ball as good as that and keep making mistakes? He plays a safety shot here. Absolutely could not play it any better, the safety shot he's left. Comes off here, top quality match play. Cue ball goes right in the one position. As soon as he played it and left it there was only one shot Neil had left of Kyra, and of course, this is what he does.
Yeah, he had to try and be aggressive and try and sort of pot the red, get it off the table, and just totally miscued. Obviously, as you mentioned there, Shaun forced him into going for that red with such a good safety shot. So Yeah, obviously it's full advantage to Shaun Murphy now.
Yeah, absolutely. But the clearance under pressure, absolute thing of beauty in the end, wasn't it?
Didn't think the cue ball was going to go anywhere other than perfect to the whole thing. It's just, he looks right in stroke. Everything's working. All departments are in full working order.
And all of these messages that he's sending out to Neil Robertson will be being received loud and clear out there, because he does not look like he's got many weaknesses out there today, Kyron.
Yeah, I'm sure if Peter's got his famous notebook, it would be filling up quite nicely. So, yeah, there's not much for him to work on at the moment. I feel like all assets of Shaun's game are very, very strong. And, yeah, you know, that was a monster clearance. So I'm sure that will hurt Neil Robertson.
If Neil is to change anything, again, it's only been one frame since we had this discussion beforehand. Is there anything else that you can see that might be possible?
He's once or twice today, he's a couple of poor saves, but once or twice he's lost a cue ball when you weren't really expecting him to do it. That's the only thing you can really say. But listen, he's playing someone at the moment who's right at the top of his powers at the moment.
Sure is. Back we go.
Also seem to have worked out a good break-off for the table. That's as good as it gets. It's a big red along the top cushion. Oh, what a great shot. A word we're starting to use more often when we see these top players in action. Currently, Shaun Murphy is unplayable. Kiss of death.
Well, after such a good red, he'll be fuming, Shaun Murphy. You wouldn't know looking at him there, but he will be enraged in his chair, missing that black off a spot. Okay, it was a blind pot and not a gimme, but no one, including him, expect him to miss it.
Six. Seven.
There's time in a match when you're 4-1 behind where you're mentally shot to ribbons as far as your confidence is concerned, but that's not the case in this match. Neil Robertson will fully fancy his chances even from 4-1.
Thirteen. 14. 19. 20. 25. 26.
Really want to leave going into the pack to the last minute. I don't think there's any plants or anything else on. This way you only get one chance to get the perfect angle.
31. 32.
No, he's not had the best luck going into the pack today so far. A couple of times he's not come out on anything. Well, he couldn't hit them any better. That is just a masterclass in how to go into the pack. But has he been unlucky again?
37.
Judging by his body language, he's okay.
He's looking at playing for the black, but I think the scoreline of the match, that positional shot could go wrong. It's pretty easy to go up the table and leave the black for later. He's decided to play for the black.
38.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, it looked tight, didn't it? But there's a fair margin of error there.
$45.
Didn't really want to be playing this red left corner. He wanted to be on the red to right corner because the black goes to the left. So not the best shot he just played on the black. The fact that he isn't down playing the shot already just tells you he's not entirely happy with this situation.
$46.
Great response.
53.
From the obvious disappointment of the last frame.
54.
Of course, Shaun sitting in his chair thinking these could have been mine.
61.
Could have been 5-1 in front. The type of thought you don't want going through your head.
52. $67. 68.
We may be 4-2 behind Neil Robertson, but some of the best snooker I've seen him play this season.
75. $76.
But for a couple of splits of the pack that may have gone more his way this afternoon, the scoreline could be a lot closer. But there's still plenty of snooker left in this.
83. $84. 91. So. 92.
I mean, Neil Robertson is at 98 pot success, 98%, and he's 4-2 behind.
$99. $104.
Oh, these two players are really delivering the goods to another packed crowd here at Ali Pali. Really is a magnificent arena to play snooker in.
108.
Well, a fantastic break. And is the comeback on? Neil Robertson. Just two adrift now, 4-2.
Century number 967 of his career. It looks like for all the world he's going to be the next man, the fourth, in fact, to stride over that 1,000 centuries mark, but not for a while. But how important is that one, would you say, Karen, in the grand scheme of things?
Yeah, massively important. Shaun will be kicking himself. I feel like, you know, he missed a black when he sort of had the game by the scruff of the neck, you know, perhaps taking his eye off the pot there and just focusing on the cannon on the red and making the old schoolboy error of forgetting the pot.
Easily done, John.
Very much so. We've all been there. I mean, the good news is, you know, when you miss, at least you know what you're doing for the next 5 minutes. You're sitting in the chair, aren't you? It's obvious what's coming because you just cannot miss. I mean, the standard is absolutely incredible. Both players are right at the top of the game when it comes to scoring, and fabulous. I mean, I don't know how much it was for a ticket in here today, but they're getting very, very good value for money, that's for sure.
Worth the weight in gold at the moment. 98% pot success, as Steve Davis was saying. Now, this is very curious because you were on the wrong end of that one yesterday, weren't you, against Zhang Anda, and it didn't matter in the end.
No, stats are overrated, you know. It doesn't matter.
I said to Otters, it's like possession in football. You know, it's no good and it doesn't matter. Who scores more goals?
Exactly. You know, I remember Celtic beating Barcelona 1-0 and you know, the possession was frightening, wasn't it? All in Barcelona's favour. So stats mean nothing; they're all rubbish.
But it does say just the high quality of this match, that those are the numbers for Neil Robertson. Yet he's got the stiffs. It's extraordinary, really.
No, honestly, it's an incredible standard. He's got enough. I think he's made a couple of poor safeties, lost position once. Other than that, he's been absolutely fantastic. He's hitting the ball so the both players are. I mean, when they're in them watching the break, no ball's hitting the jaw. Everything's right in the middle of the pocket.
And I wonder if Stephen would agree in the commentary box. On Sunday, when he was beating John Higgins, Stephen, from 5-1 behind, he seemed to very much pick up the pace, and at least to my naive eye, it seemed like he was really getting into his stride and picking up the pace in that last frame.
Yeah. Certainly feels like he's deliberately trying to improve that rhythm. I think that's the third time I've heard Karen Wilson talking about stats this season compared to twice from John Parrott. Oh, somebody's missed one. Has he got away with it? Not really. Read into the right corner. And an escape route for the cue ball to get back for blue or balk colour. This is a chance for Neil Robertson to keep the momentum up.
Well, swings and roundabouts. He didn't really want the cannon on the red, but if he pots this pink, unless the pink goes in the black spot, it's got a natural angle to play for the red that's near the black, move that out the way. So it might be a blessing in disguise, that cannon. But you got to pot the pink. You got to pot the pink.
Robertson 1. Thank you.
Well, it wasn't easy, but
Quiet now.
you'd have expected him, Stephen, to have got position for the blue, wouldn't you? Got through that gap.
Yeah, it's almost like because it wasn't part of the plan, that pot, it just felt awkward to him because the plan was to go back up the table.
One.
Couldn't avoid putting the black into the pack there, and hasn't come that favourably on a colour. So maybe a little bit of hope for Neil Robertson.
Blue ball.
Another brave
6.
shot there. Could have been forgiven for hitting that a bit harder. It's a bit more awkward now, this break with the black out of play. Well, that was... Oh, what a shot.
7.
What a shot that was. Okay, couldn't have asked for a better result. It could have gone wrong, but now the frame at his mercy.
$12. $13.
And Neil Robertson has got a hope now that Shaun Murphy sees the finishing line and doesn't like the look of it as much. So this time, isn't it, Steve, where you've got to keep your mind on the job, forget what could happen as a result of winning this frame. Just play every ball as it comes.
$20. $21.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be getting thoughts about the winning line yet at 4-2, but I know what you're saying. You can't think you'll win this frame, 3-frame lead, only need 1. But it's
26.
about just playing the table, trying to forget the scoreline. A little bit further away from the reds to right corner than he wanted, so taking this one with a rest.
Thank you. 27. $32. 33.
That's could be the worst shot he's played all afternoon, because that was so straightforward to get right side of the blue, and now he's going to leave the next red from a little bit of distance. Just a little bit of lack of concentration.
And the way he's been playing, you expect him to just
38.
roll it in, but he knows full well that he shouldn't have been leaving himself as difficult a pot as this. So maybe that puts a bit of pressure on it.
A little bit lower on the black than he would have liked. He can still nip the cue ball enough just to play a soft cannon on those 3 reds above the black. Wow, he missed the cannon. Is he on the bottom red of those 3?
46.
I don't think he is. So that original shot, when he didn't get right side of the blue, he's still not regained position. This is now 3 shots later. Again, still not perfect. It's amazing. It's always the easy shots that cost you or catch you out. The easiest of shots. That easy red to get position on the blue.
Although it's not as easy as it looks on our overhead. That red into the right centre's nice to have as a saver.
49.
Left centre, depending upon where you're looking from.
$57. 58.
Will Neil Robertson look back at that missed pink to the middle as
64.
Well, the ball that maybe cost him a chance to win this match. Every ball missed has been expensive this afternoon, and that one was no different. It's cost him the frame.
71.
Yeah, 3 up with 4 to play. Shaun Murphy would have bitten your hand off for that.
72.
I mean, obviously he's at the table in full flow. It's easy to say when you see a player who seems to be at the top of their game, but this is sort of Masters winning standard he's putting 79. In here. There's been a couple of players this week that have produced exceptional standards, but
80.
Nothing better than Shaun Murphy. Every chance of another century here. Doesn't want to be on the cushion though. The worst outcome.
82.
Well, no century. But it's another frame-winning visit from Shaun Murphy. And as Steve says, he now goes 3 frames ahead with a possible 4 to play at 5-2.
Well, Neil Robertson just stepping out for a minute there to ponder his situation, and it doesn't look great at the moment, you've got to say. 3 frames behind, and a man who really has gathered a real head of steam out there. And the word in the studio that was flying around during that break was pure aggression.
Yeah.
It's been very marked the way he's been playing.
I mean, I absolutely love the shot he's played in the corner. Now, you've got to take, he's trusting to luck a little bit, as he said, but this is the way to play it. He's made his mind up. He's going to go into the side of the pack. You thought it was like quite a controlled shot, really, because of the side of the pack, didn't you?
Yeah, so there were 2 sort of loose-ish reds at the side of the pack, which were just to the left of the black. And I think, you know, Shaun played a shot previously where he screwed off of the black up for the blue and sort of tied the black up. And that was the total opposite, wasn't it? It was just burst everything open, get the black back into play. So yeah, you can see the join with the 2 reds next to the black, sort of on the left-hand side of that pack. And he's thinking, if he hits them right, there's a chance that black is obviously going to be pushed either towards the right corner pocket, or he could even hold there and be on it, but he's probably got the best outcome and going up for the blue.
Yeah, I mean, you're taking the cue ball down the table, so you are giving yourself, there's 5 balls there you could possibly land on, so you are giving yourself a little bit of an advantage. But nevertheless, he couldn't dream the way it was coming out, but I love the way he just no thought about anything else. Let's get the balls open.
Absolutely, a 5-2, as we say. And we were actually trying to remember when Shaun Murphy had been playing to this sort of level. I'm sure he's produced it many times through different seasons, but really the sort of apex of it, the last apex, as it were, was perhaps towards the end of 2023 season when he was winning the Players' Championship and the Tour Championship, and he was absolutely throwing in the tons, the century breaks for fun back then, wasn't he?
Yeah, he actually beat me in that in the Tour Championship final, and he's, you know, at that time I remember he was working with Robbie Murphy, and his rhythm was quite slow. He was walking around the table quite slow, sort of, you know, plodding around, which was, I don't know, it wasn't quite like the Shaun Murphy we know. But again, you know, he's implemented something new in this one where he's keeping his head down, and I quite like that sometimes. You know, these little tweaks here and there. It's just showing you want to stay relevant, you want to improve. You're not quite happy with how things are going at the current time, and you know, you're happy to make a little change. You
agree with Steve Davis? This is a kind of championship level performer.
Yeah,
here
I mean, the way he's playing, absolutely, yeah. But what you would say is, with the quality we've got in here on show, I'm sure there's plenty of other players who are thinking, you know, I can produce that as well. That's what makes this tournament so great. From match to match, you can look. I mean, I've already seen the winner of this 4 times already this week, because some of the standards have been incredible in the opening matches. So, you know, everyone's going to have the say in it. But today, he is playing. It's his match play that's done it for me, because it's been really, really high quality. And when he's had to play a safety shot, there's been a lot more effort and thought about it, and it's been played to a higher standard.
Is there, from a player's perspective, does this place actually lend itself to higher quality performances? Do you feel better when you go out in an atmosphere like this, and that you can produce your very best on a stage like this?
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously with Neil being 5-2 behind, the crowd, you know, I expect them to really get behind him now. You know, they love an underdog coming back. He's shown it in his first game against John Higgins, being 5-1 down, and you know, at the end of the day, it's the best 16 players in the world, so you know you have to play good snooker to win this tournament.
And very important for Shaun to maintain that level of concentration here, because we've seen it once already this week. You know, Robertson came from 5-1 behind to John Higgins. It is possible, so you've got to keep that concentration level up.
The winning line is perhaps in sight, but can Shaun Murphy stride over it? This is frame 8.
This is a big shot. Doesn't seem entirely happy with it. But he has decided to pull the trigger. The fact that he didn't just get down to that red straight away told me he wasn't confident. And in the end, it was a poor delivery of the cue. I think if he'd have seen an alternative, he would have taken it. This red to the left corner, the cue ball will be careering into the other reds. Oh, it's just stuck. Still potable, the black.
Yeah, you would have expected that cue ball to run on there. It just collided with a red full ball and stayed there. So it's black not exactly on the spot. An unusual cutting angle. Just wriggled in off the near jaw, but he's left with another tough one.
I think he can get low in this and screw the cue ball off 2 cushions for the black, same pocket.
Yeah, it's a radio from. And you know the radios? Yeah, security radio, yeah.
Not good to have that interruption. Puts a little bit of added pressure on the significance of this shot.
$16. $17. $24. $25.
Well, it would be an incredible way to cap off an excellent performance. You win the match with 147, that's 4 reds, 4 blacks, but I'm sure Shaun's not thinking that way at all. He's just thinking about winning the match, full stop.
Little shake of the head there. Ah, that's why.
$33.
40.
Well, this is missable to mere mortals with the rest. But Shaun Murphy is so good with it.
41.
That it makes it look easy. Still on blacks.
So far, he hasn't played any risky attempts to get on the black. It's all been relatively straightforward.
49.
He wants to get over the line before he does try anything adventurous to keep the break going and the maximum chance.
$56.
Obviously, he'd need a favourable split of the pack at some stage.
57.
But inching ever closer.
I mean, if you were going for the maximum, you'd probably play for the red that's on the black cushion, but I don't think he'll be interested in that red. Well, they're playing for the black again at this red.
64.
Is he straight enough on the black just to drop on this red? Dead weight. He is. So this is now frame and match ball, but if it goes in, the only thing in his mind will be the maximum. What sort of angle has he got in the black? The red does go past the pink to the yellow pocket. Not sure if anything goes to the middle. It's also onto the green pocket, the red that's just away from the bunch.
He could try it, run through off two cushions and try and open the pack out, but he's got chances of long reds into the baulk pockets. So this red close to the pack looks like it also might go into the green
80.
pocket. Come on, Shaun. Knock this in. It's there. What a shot. Does another red go? Close to the pink. What a chance this is.
Yeah, it's
88.
about composure now. You'll be getting more and more excited inside.
89.
Steve mentioned that red. I don't know if the red to the right of the three goes to the right corner pocket. He may have to play the cannon here.
Oh, it goes. It goes. That's fantastic news. He could have done with being a bit
96.
straighter on this, but even so, what a chance. He's been queuing so well today.
97.
You fancy he's going to do it, don't you? You just fancy it's on the cards. Just feeling the hit a little bit. You can see it in his face, but the cue action still rock solid.
105.
Lost it a bit then.
Do you just drop the black in, leave the red from distance, or maybe try and cannon? He's just going to drop the black in. It's there. We don't want to get the cue ball near that left side cushion here with this. Try and drop this in without getting a little trace of right hand side. No, he's played it plain ball, he just dropped it in.
All about the weight. Has he got the weight right? Oh, it's an awful shot. Oh, no. Oh. 120. He should have hit it harder. He should have hit it harder.
I would have played top spin with run inside.
Thank you.
Yeah, up the right side of the table.
Can he fluke it? No. Well, what a shame. What a shame to a fantastic match that Shaun Murphy didn't make that 147 break. But regardless, what a superb performance by him. Neil Robertson has no complaints. He knows he's been up against a player in fantastic form today. Wishing him the best in the next round. Congratulations, Shaun Murphy.
Well done, Neil.
Shaun Murphy. Shaun Murphy, soak it up. Soak it up for a second. Oh, so close. So close.
I couldn't breathe.
Neither could we.
I couldn't. You know, I set one of my targets for the season was to make a max in one of the Triple Crown events. And I was like, come on, this is a good chance, this is a good chance. I mean, obviously anywhere but there, but goodness me. I mean, it was exciting. The most important thing today was it would have been a great present. It's my mum's birthday today. So
many happy returns, Mrs. M. Your boy marches on. And Shaun, plaudits from everywhere. Stephen Hendry said you have the cue ball on the end of a string. John Parrott said it's the finest match play he's seen for years. Is that the best we've seen from you since that back-to-back run when you won the Players and the Tour a couple of years ago?
Yeah, probably. You know, I produced little bits and pieces, but not really when it mattered. I mean, you're going up against a two-time winner here against Neil, a real classy player. And I've always said, when you play one of those players, one of the greats, you know, an all-timer, you know, you've got to play your best. That was somewhere near my best, and I'm delighted. I'm really pleased.
And everyone absolutely loved watching that. A word for the crowd. They have just been phenomenal this week.
Yeah, the crowd just keep getting better and better here, year on year, match on match. I'm sorry I couldn't deliver the 147. But we march on. We've got more attempts. We'll keep going.
Shaun Murphy, give us the 360. There he is, into another huge showdown. Murphy marches on.
He does, and that was a Thursday afternoon treat for everyone, not least the 2,200 in here. And I hope you have lapped that up at home as well. So close to a maximum, but not to be. However, the most important thing is a wonderful win today. And just can you reflect on how emphatic that performance was? Karen first, please.
What a wally. What a wally. Fancy snookering yourself on the blue. No, what an effort. What a fantastic performance. You know, Neil will be walking away there thinking, I didn't do too much wrong. You know, Shaun's all-round match play was fantastic. His break building was great. It just would have been the icing on the cake to have the 147 there.
Absolutely. There's going to be a gold star in Peter's notebook today, isn't there?
Well, I tell you what, the negative column's got nothing in it. Absolutely nothing in that. That's as good as I've seen him play, match play and striking the ball all round. If you play like that, honestly, you take the world of beating from anybody. He was absolutely magnificent, and it's a greater shame he didn't finish with the maximum. We were talking about, he got on the black, and we were talking about the shot to play. Yeah. And we were all saying, no, play the one with the run inside, go the other side of the pink. If you play this one, the blue, and he's come right behind the blue. We couldn't believe it.
Absolutely. He's coming in very shortly. But when we look at the way he's played, he's obviously going to be playing Mark Selby or Mark Allen in the semi-final. Was in the semi-final last year. But this really was vintage Murphy. And as Rob was saying, we were discussing actually earlier on, it's been about 18 months since we've seen something of that calibre from the magician, hasn't it?
Yeah, very much. As I say, the quality of the match play all round was brilliant. He's missed the black off the spot. We can remember it because it's one of the few things he did that was actually wrong. The rest of it was just so good, and the safety play and everything.
Magic is all we can say,
Brilliant.
sir.
Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good.
Wonderful win today, Sean.
That's what an idiot.
He just called you a Wally.
He's already called you a Wally.
Don't worry.
Anywhere but there. Anywhere but there.
No.
You were so close. Would you like to play that one again?
I would love to have another go at that one. Goodness me. I wouldn't mind, but I did that before once, years ago, in the Welsh Open against Mark Williams. Did the same thing. Exactly the same shot. You'd think I would have learned.
Did you not have the angle to just play it with a touch of left inside the pink up for the yellow?
Yeah, I just couldn't breathe.
Oh, yeah. You just wanted to hit through it.
That was just too difficult at that point.
Of an excuse
I know, yeah. No, I was very nervous. I just thought, anywhere but there.
Yeah.
That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's still okay, that's fine. Game over.
Yeah.
You did have a go at it, hoping you might fluke it, obviously, but not to be. But let's not let it detract from anything you did this afternoon. We're just saying it's possibly the most focused. And look at that, a wonderful shake of the head there from Neil Robertson, really sporting from Neil Robertson. And it was a wonderful event. What were you most pleased with about the way you went about that today, Sean?
I just, focus is a good word. I know that when you're playing one of the greats, one of the Hall of Famers, you've got to step up to the mark from the start. And throughout my career, perhaps that's something I've not always been the best at doing. I was really pleased with how I finished the game as well, because, we saw earlier in the week, Neil really, came back from the death against John Higgins. So, I didn't want a repeat of that. And I'm delighted that when I got my chance, I took it.
I just think there was everything. If you're looking at a performance where everything was covered, you had it. You had a chance to make a clearance, you made the clearance. When you played a safety shot, it was trouble. When you were in, you concentrated. We were saying there's like one black off the spot, you got in, and the other. That's the only thing we can look at. It's the only sort of mistake you've made all afternoon.
Yeah.
But if you play to that level and concentrate to that level, you'll take the world of beating.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I suppose the point is that all the guys on the tour, all the players in this event can play like that. It's doing it time after time after time after time.
You've been saying for quite a while now that you really feel that something is moving in terms of Peter's association with you. John was saying there were no negatives in the column in that book today. But you've been feeling something's coming and that the potential for improvement is now being met. What's improving for you?
There's been a lot of things, and I've been really delighted with the partnership with Peter. I know Peter's someone who helped you a lot in your younger career, obviously based in Northants, where I grew up. And it's been a lovely sort of circle of life that Peter and I are now working together. After I watched him make his debut in the Worlds in '92, it's a nice little story. But the one thing that he's given me, I won't tell you everything, but the one thing he has helped me find is that belief again. Yeah. Is that belief that actually, you can do this. And it's easy to let those, negative thoughts creep in, where you've had a few bad results, where you've not been lifting the trophies. It's easy for those negatives to take over. And of course, no one was more positive in their career than Peter. And he's really helped me rediscover my belief.
Well, it's very interesting because it speaks to a conversation we had earlier in the afternoon about having someone in your corner with whom that you can trust to give you honest feedback and to be able to improve all aspects of your game. Is this the man for you?
Certainly currently, absolutely. I'd always wanted to scratch that itch of working with somebody who'd walked down those stairs themselves and played. We've just lost the great Terry Griffiths, and I never got the opportunity to work with him. To have somebody in your corner who's been out there, competed in that gladiatorial arena that it is as a snooker player, and who's lifted the trophy as well, I think he knows when to say nothing and when to say something. I mean, pre-match we were listening to some 90s remix of something, and he was telling us about this guitar riff and all this. We're not in there discussing snooker. Because he was a chart topper, Peter, wasn't he, back in the day?
Yes. I can't remember the name of the single, actually. It will come to me at some point. But yeah, he was
something
up there.
With a clown.
Something about a clown.
Yeah. Tears of a Clown.
No, I'm a clown.
I'm a clown, yeah.
I can just... Did he have the ponytail?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had the full Kaji-Goo-Goo going on.
Yeah. No, I am growing my hair. But it's not as a result of that.
Yeah. Well, we also got to say, you are the magician and you're a real showman. And I think the smile coming from your face as you walk down the steps, what are you getting from this arena and this event that you don't get at others?
I mean, you can see it, can't you? I mean, if you don't get excited for this,
I think it's pertinent when you listen to the guys of yesteryear, of the greats from the 80s and 90s. You know, we include John in that conversation, Steve, Stephen, and Ken, you know, and when they say they would love to have played here.
Yeah.
And it's that. I attended the conference centre as a kid. Yep. I got to play there once. This is very, very special as a snooker player. You know, we remember those times during the pandemic, which, you know, no one wanted. But no one grew up. You know, Kyron didn't take up snooker as a child to play in front of nobody. And they were dark days. This is the polar opposite. And if you don't enjoy this, you're in the wrong business.
It's been a long time since you lifted one of these Triple Crowns. I think we're talking about a decade now, Shaun. Are you in the kind of form to put that right?
Well, I've got one of these trophies at home.
You have?
And I was cleaning it the other day and I tried lifting it. I can still lift it. So, you know, they're quite heavy. If I'm still here Sunday night, I'll be in with a shout. But obviously there's a couple of massive players standing before me there. So back to the table for me.
Absolutely. Well, before you go, we're just going to have a word with Neil Robertson, because a very sporting gesture at the end for you, and a wonderful champion who's made a really good run of an opportunity he did not think he was going to get until last Friday. He's with Shaun now.
Neil, tell us your assessment of that one then.
I thought both of us looked absolutely fantastic out there, and yeah, it's a shame. So I felt absolutely, I felt brilliant out there. You know, I thought I played great. I think when two players are playing really well, it's just the smallest of margins. You know, one way or the other can be the difference. And yeah, that's the way it was. And but I had missed a tricky pink in the middle with half a chance at to get in at 4-2 to then maybe get it to 4-3. And yeah, if that's all I can kind of really take away from the match in terms of an unforced error, then I think you just have to take your hat off to Shaun with how well he played today.
Was that the key point then? Do you think things could have been different if you hadn't missed it?
Yeah, I think the third frame as well, I had him in a lot of trouble off a safety. He double kissed the red playing safe and held his hand up. He got it safe, and then the following shot, I got no choice but to open up some reds. I've got a great white. I put him in loads of trouble. Just a red just came out that he could went slightly near the pocket. Other than that, you know, it's not too much I did wrong. I felt brilliant. I felt I could go all the way and win the event. But I think the most important thing, I got my game absolutely back, that aggressiveness, winning the frames quickly. So going forward, I feel absolutely amazing, and certainly slightly different to this point last year, that's for sure.
Yeah, you must be so pleased that you got the opportunity to come and play in this Masters then.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you know, a lot was made of it, that, you know, I was free rolling, and I kind of, you know, I was going with that, but I think all the players know, you know, I've won it here a couple of times, so I'm not really like free rolling. I felt as though that my game is really back, and yeah, I'm really loving playing the game again, and, you know, I just can't wait for the next event now.
And you look just as disappointed as everybody out there that he didn't make that 147.
I know, it's such a bad shot, because, you know, even if he leaves himself a shot with the rest on the yellow, he's so good with the rest that you fancy him potting it. And yeah, I don't know, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I had the perfect angle as he was coming off the second cushion. I thought, oh, he's landing in right behind the blue here. And yeah, it was a real shame for everyone watching. And you know, it would have been really nice to see the 147 here as well. So yeah, gutted for Shaun from that point of view, but I'm sure he'll be happy, you know, happy with the match.
All the best to you, Neil. Thank you.
All right, cheers. Thanks very much.
Well said. It's been great to see you, but Shaun's getting a pummeling from Neil as well.
I've let my family down. I've let the crowd down.
The inflatable snooker player.
It's my mother's birthday. I've let my mum down. Sorry, mum.
On the contrary, shall we just confirm what's still to come? Because this evening we've got another big hitting duo. We've got Mark Allen against Mark Selby. What a proper contest that's going to be as well. Dig in, folks. That one could go on for a while. And then tomorrow afternoon, world number one, Judd Trump and Ding Junhui. They've got plenty of history, most of it at the Crucible actually, in matches there. But tomorrow afternoon is the first time they're ever going to square up here at the Masters. And then in the evening, two world champions, the present incumbent Kyron, who's very kindly been with us all afternoon, is playing the man he followed to Crucible success, Luca Brissell. Now, before we let you go, Kyron, that match against Luca is a wonderful symmetry of having the two world champions from last year and the year before. How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, very much so. Obviously, Luca's starting to rediscover some of the form that he had in winning the previous World Championships. And, you know, obviously, once you've got that first round match out of the way in this tournament, as you've seen from both players there, I feel like it's a bit of a burden off of your shoulders and you can relax into it a bit more and you feel more sort of a part of the tournament. So, yeah, hopefully we put on as good a match as these guys just have then.
Absolutely. And about tonight, you've got a vested interest in watching this one tonight, Shaun. Which mark will prevail for you and why?
You beat me too. I was going to say I think Mark will win. Yeah,
you don't care.
Yeah.
You just want 6-5 on the black. Don't you?
I don't mind. Yeah, you know, that could go on. I mean, both players are in good form. Mark Selby, in particular, in his first match, looked extremely dangerous. So I don't care.
For you, John?
Oh, listen, I couldn't pick a winner in that match. I mean, I've got splinters, you know, from sitting on the fence with that one. I'm going to carry on having splinters because I couldn't pick a winner in it. I really couldn't.
No.
Well, it was Mark Allen who did produce a 147 in the match. It was a quarter-final match between the two Marks last year. So I think there's some green shoots there. I think it's going to be a wonderful match, and you'll see it with Seema tonight. BBC 2, she's starting with a team on 2 at 7 o'clock, and then they're moving over to BBC 4 at 8 o'clock. So lots to look forward to, and then we're back at 1 o'clock tomorrow, Judd Trump against Ding Junhui. By the way, 11 wins to 9 in Allen's favour over Selby, in case you were wondering about the head-to-head there. But what an afternoon it's been. The Magician has marched through to the semi-finals for the second year in a row, actually, Shaun. Thank you so much. And thank you to the world champion, and thank you to a former world champion. Thanks to all of you for watching. We've had a marvellous time. I hope you have too. Bye for now.